True freedom does not actually come from wanting more or having more. It comes from needing less. If you're one of these people that are bogged down in constantly chasing after the next thing to buy, chasing after the next thing to consume, embroiled in the materialism and consumer culture, let me explain to you what that quote actually means to its core and why it might be time for you to sit back down and have a recalibration of where you're going in life, what your trajectory is. So my dream car was the white Lamborghini Huracan. And a few years back, I started my own car accessory business in hopes of just making as much money as I could. But what I quickly found out was that I was way out of my depth. I was selling things like seat covers that's imported from overseas, and also just general car accessories that a lot of other local, more established brands in the community have already mastered. And even Temu beat me price-wise so much. This is what happens when you begin something that you truly do not have any alignment or passion for. You just end up copying what other people have done and mastered already. Social media has basically convinced all of us that power comes from aesthetics, social standing, and also social signaling. It comes from what you have. The value is externalized from you and into what you own, what you can tangibly hold or see. But the thing is, right, but if we really take a step back and really look at it, right, analyze it properly, other than function, what things in our daily lives that we buy and own just to impress people actually helps us, actually amplifies who we already are, and helps us serve our trajectory? How many things do we own are actually based on what we get in order to fit into a certain archetype or aesthetic? You'll be surprised that it's probably a lot more than you think. And here's the thing, right? This is the trap that it's so easy to fall into this trap. Basically what happens is you spend all this time and energy pouring your hard-earned money into chasing things that end up not mattering in the future, or just end up disappearing after the next aesthetic wave rolls around. And what ends up happening is all that energy and time becomes wasted because you're stuck in maintenance mode. You're maintaining a life that you never chose, but that you think you want because other people have it, and they seem to be living a good life. But the thing is, most of it's actually just fake. The vast majority of it is not real. It's just curated so that you feel like you're missing out by looking at what other people are doing online. And let me tell you something. I'm someone who's never been a big nightlife or clubbing or just general party guy, right? I like my evenings just chilling at home, maybe playing a few games or watching a few shows here and there. And I don't think I missed out on anything, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I've missed out on what people call the party years of your 20s, because those don't really bring me contentment at all. I have gone a few times, and it feels like I have outgrown a phase that I never really fully participated in. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because some experiences you can only learn from actually experiencing it yourself. So I don't know if I'm just speaking out of something that is specific to me and may not relate to everybody, but I just generally do think that Gen Z in general is moving more towards the path of finding self-contentment over just performative social signaling culture. And I really think that it's like one of those things where it's like that one experiment that I heard, forgot the name, but you'll know when you hear it. It's like everyone's in a car, nobody actually wants to go on the road trip, but since everyone thinks that everyone else wants to go on the trip, they keep silent and never speak up. When in fact, if one person actually just spoke up, then no one would have to go on the trip. We don't realize just how much time and effort we put into maintaining all these things. We don't realize that our lives outside of work is essentially another full-time job that's dedicated to maintaining the image of a lifestyle that we never consciously chose in the first place. We've got to be really, really careful with how we choose to live, how we design our own life, because if you choose the wrong one, what's going to end up happening is that Yeah, maybe you get the aesthetic power that comes with that lifestyle. But what also happens is that the responsibility that comes from that lifestyle as well, the extra baggage you carry on just to maintain it, becomes an anchor and hinders your ability to pivot into something else when you eventually do find out that that lifestyle didn't suit you in the first place. When you're chasing the image of a lifestyle, every new thing you own becomes another obligation. And you're cluttered not because you're disorganized, but because you're living on autopilot. You're essentially unconscious. You're flying blind. You're essentially flying on what blueprints have been externally injected into you through mainstream messaging, through media, through social outlets. And here's the thing, a lot of people easily fall into the trap of thinking that I'll just go along with this lifestyle that I didn't choose at first, just to provide for the lifestyle that I do want. But what ends up happening is that you get anchored deep down into your current lifestyle because all these new responsibilities and obligations keep piling on, and it becomes a thing that's so difficult to pivot from, right? It's so difficult to pivot from because there's nothing much you can do, because you don't have the time and energy left at the end of the day that's spent maintaining and performing to withhold your current life from falling apart. That there's no extra energy you have left or time to spend towards creating the actual life that you want, the dream life you want. And it's a trap because even if you succeed in this, even if you reach a point where you don't have to maintain your current lifestyle anymore, and you're free, financially free, and also time-wise, to just go live the life that you want. But here's the reason why you're still not actually free. Because you're shifting from maintenance mode to reactive mode, where what influences your next lifestyle, the one that you think you actually want, it's going to be greatly influenced by things that you missed out on previously. And it's probably going to be leisure activities, comfort-based activities. And those things don't actually accurately reflect your dream life. I'm telling you right now, because comfort doesn't equal vision. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that what gives me entertainment, what gives me comfort, what gives me a bit of fun in this precise moment is my passion. But the thing is, passion is what you're willing to suffer for. You spent most of your life maintaining a lifestyle, grinding, working really hard to reach a point where you can finally afford to just sit back and do some things that you actually want now. You're going to be inclined to do the things that give you comfort, not to suffer even more, because you've already suffered enough. And so what basically ends up happening is that you spend decades of your life grinding towards just being able to sit down, go out golfing, just being able to do some leisure activities without feeling guilty. That's all you get. That's your reward at the end of decades of hard work. If you're someone that doesn't want to end up being on this path, end up being the person that doesn't get anything, doesn't get rewarded for their effort at the end of their life, and you want to break free from this, you can start now. I wouldn't say it's ever too late for someone to begin pivoting away, but it can get harder and harder the more you go down a certain path. And remember this is the really important part. Whatever you choose, whatever dream you want to go for, it's not about being comfortable. Choose things based on what feels the most authentic to you. What purpose that you want to actually strive toward. What you feel inspired by. What you really want to contribute to the world. What legacy you want to leave behind. Instead of choosing what feels easy. Instead of taking the easy way out. And by doing that, by following that simple rule, you'll slowly drift away from lifestyles that you never chose. Declutter yourself, both physically and mentally. Walk away from social ecosystems that are draining you or are holding you back, and curate your own. It may be lonely and isolating at first, but it's worth it in the long run. I can promise you that. And it's really, really important to remember to stop comparing yourself to other people's lifestyles. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the past version of you. That's what you should be measuring against. If you enjoyed this video, Feel free to share your experience down below and give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.